again, warajman, that is the ex his household. Wa imaratan, a woman too, rahiya fi bayti zawjiha, in the house of his husband, wa mas'alatan an rahihatiha, and will also be asked about the things in his household, his children, and the things of his husband, and ultimately, and the maid will also be asked about the things of his master that's given to him, because again, the prophet says as a matter of emphasis, you are all shepherds, and you'll be asked how you direct your flock. These are definitely in Sahih Bukhari. So for definition of EI, let us give you, I'll make the baseline, but giving us the definition of scholars who also are giving the baseline on the issue of emotional intelligence. What does EI mean? It means the ability to perceive accurately, appraise, and express emotion, the ability to access or to generate feelings, and facilitate thoughts, ability to understand people's emotion, it did not regulate your emotion and promote your intellectual growth. EI is basically the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own feelings, manage your feelings and the feelings of others. So how do you manage your own feelings, and how do you manage the feelings of others? You are in the office, 8 a.m. in the morning. The clocking time in your office is 8 a.m. You are given a latitude of 8 to 8:15 for staff, and staffs come in 8:20. Once they clock in, will not accept them because they are late, that they are absent for that day. So, and as the person who is in charge, we saw somebody who was already highlighting from the boss and running so that he will be able to 8:15, and at the time he plans on clocking time, they change time to 8:16, and it logged. I hope I'm still on.
Yes, you are.
Admin.
You are still on.
And it locked the person out. This is 8:16. So the implication of this is that the person is likely to be marked half day or
I'm afraid we seem to have lost the speaker again. It's one of those things that we have had to, endure on this time and time again. It's one of those feelings of hearts in this part of the world. But I can see it's already, getting back on the call. So yeah, so Alaji, we lost you yet again, but you are back.
Yes, I don't know whether it's my network here or otherwise.
It's got to be, it's got to be your network from your hand, because otherwise I think it's all stable here.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, please.
It's okay.
That's why I don't use Wi-Fi for my presentation.
It still does not appear stable.
So, like I was saying, sorry for that small hiccups.
Can you hear me?
I'm still on, I guess.
Yeah, you are on. Although it's a bit jerky, but I'm hoping it will stabilize as we progress. You can go ahead.
Yes, I can hear you. Am I still on? Is this stable now?
Yes, stable. Can go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. That EI is the ability to understand your own emotions and people around you too. Because, thank you very much. And the emotion of people around, not only the person in this interplay, both you and those who are around you. It's about you knowing what would definitely affect the other person to just shut down your workforce. If you would not next to nothing, just employing you, collecting salary every month and you're doing nothing. Because the concept of
Yeah, so it's a bit of tough time we're having at the moment. Um, I guess it has to do with network. Yeah. So it's been going on and off, sir.
yes, I just saw it now. So I'm just seeing, maybe I'll just use my phone. I'm using a laptop presently, so maybe my phone will be a better route. I don't know.
Recording in progress.
You may have to mute one of your devices. I can see
I've done that. I've done that.
Right. Okay.
Sorry, I'm just trying to.
Yes, we can understand that.
Connect back via my phone so that we don't have this off.
So sincere apologies to our esteemed audience. We, of course, like you know, we are not unfamiliar with issues like this when it comes to online programs like this. And like we can see, the speaker is working seriously to ensure that that is resolved so that we can continue with proceedings. So I'm very sure we'll have all of that sorted in just about a moment. What if, so may I suggest that while you're using your laptop, perhaps you turn off your video. Let's see if that can.
Okay.
That can stabilize. Perhaps it can stabilize it a little bit. Can turn off your video and let us have your screen off. The screen is up now.
Okay, I think we are on now, I guess.
Yes, yes, you are. You may go ahead now, sir.
So, and he's not on him back.
No, not at all. It's okay now. It's perfect for now.
Okay, thank you. So, like I was saying, that workforce in the 21st century had gone beyond you shouting, showing your bossy nature, showing to people that I'm in charge here. I'm your boss. If you don't accept I'm your boss, don't think I can fire you. This is my company. I don't know what I've invested in making this company. Even Allah's messenger, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called his attention to the fact that وَبِمَا رَحْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لِنْتَ لَهُمْ وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَظَّلَ غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ وَاعْفُ عَنْهُمْ وَاسْتَغْفِرْ لَهُمْ وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ فَإِذَا عَزَمْتَ فَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُتَوَكِّلِينَ. So the core issue here is that Allah says, فَبِمَا رَحْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لِنْتَ لَهُمْ. And by the mercy of Allah, you deal with them gently. People who surround you, this Allah was referring to the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if not for his gentility and the manner in which he dealt with them with EI, he would not have been able to capture them. Because the nature of Arabs is that they are very hard-hearted. You can't just win them by being bossy, by being just overloading yourself over them. No. You've got to just make the best possible to ensure that you are very humane with them and you are not trying to just break their heart. And by doing this, what do? You do three things. Number one is that don't be hard-hearted to them. Wa'fu anhum, overload their shortcomings. Wastaghfir lahum, and also do what? Also seek forgiveness for them. Washawiruhum fil amri, and consult them to avoid their affairs. Issues will arise in offices, issues will arise in place of work. Consult them, your staffs, those who are beginning authority to is azanta. Once you are taking a decision, not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with those who rely on him wholeheartedly. So EI is very key about you having to control your emotions, understand them, and how you manage, how you use them in every situation you find yourself. And situation will arise to a very high degree that you need to control your temper. And temper management, managing your temperament is also very important, and showing empathy when it matters most. So we'll get to understand this key when we looked at these domains of EI holistically. And eventually, you also know that for EI, it enables you to understand people and how you also been able to show concern and also understand their mutual well-being. I know of a friend who doesn't care. He doesn't, if somebody is pregnant, as a pregnant person, he doesn't eat the food. Even his wife at home struggles to eat her food when the wife is pregnant. So if you have a staff in office who is pregnant, are you going to leave on source staff? Or you are going to run away from, if you are even using an open office and your colleague who sits close to you is pregnant, how do you manage your emotions in that regard? Because you can't stand a pregnant woman. So all these are what EI is important in our life as Muslims professionals. And it's important that we understand the domains of EI quickly because of our time factor. What are the domains of EI? Goldman told us the 5 components of that is critical to emotional intelligence. The first one is self-awareness. What does self-awareness mean? We'll still go over it. The second one is self-regulation. The third one is social skills. The fourth one is your empathy. And the last one is your motivation. So these are the 5 domains of emotional intelligence. To that extent, we looked at what does Islam says about EI, because Islam is, like I said, tibyan li kulli shay'in. It talks about everything. So Islam has come to give us references about everything. Allah told us in Surah Al-Imran, verse 133 to 134, Allah says, وَسَارِعُوا إِلَىٰ مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ, aching to the forgiveness of your Lord, وَجَنَّةُ الْأَرْضُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, and if you aching to the forgiveness of your Lord, you are going to earn the paradise whose spans is more than the heavens and the earth. It is what? It is indeed preserved for those who are the pious ones. What would they do to earn this? Number one, الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ فِي السَّرَّاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ, those who spend when they have, when they don't even have, they are also in serious financial need, whether in prosperity and adversity, they spend. وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ, they are those who also repress their anger, who suppress their anger. That is EI for you. They are those who manage what they call anger management skills. Number 3, وَالْعَافِي عَنِ النَّاسِ, they also pardon people, they overlook people. Because you yourself, you are not perfect. Because al-kamal lillahi ta'ala, perfection belongs to Allah. Allah says, Wallahu yuhibbul muhsinin. Allah definitely loves those who are. It's important that as somebody who is a Muslim professional, if you embrace this ayah, then you will know that having self-control, having empathy is very key. In the Sunnah, we'll see several things in the Sunnah, Sunnah al-Mutarrahara. The Sunnah Prophet Muhammad shows to us that empathy is very key. I'll tell us a story one day. The Prophet in the book of our scholars titled Al-Islam wal-Qiyada, he said that the Prophet one day was in a mosque. After Salat, he came, he looked around, and he was looking around every part of the mosque. And said, something is missing in this mosque. And what was it missing? He said, where is the woman that used to sweep this mosque? He said, she did not come in the last 2 days. So eventually they went and searched, and they said the woman is at home. The Prophet went to the woman's house and saw that the woman is actually sick. She was unable to come to the mosque for 2 days because she was sick. That was indeed a leader who understand, who empathize, who understand the domains, who understand what's obtainable in a society and knows what is actually happening. You remember the case of, again, about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he told us that la yu'minu ahadukum hatta yuhibba al-akhi ma yuhibbu li-nafsihi. You are not yet a believers until you wish for yourself what you wish for your brothers. Just put yourself what you want. Let's also replicate for your brother too. This is what you need to establish as the Islamic element of EI in ourselves. Like I said, self-control, self-management. The Prophet demonstrated this when he was telling us about how we manage our anger. And he told us that the most powerful of you is not one who knocks the other one down, but the one who is powerful is somebody who can control his anger when it at its peak. And we can see references of this in Bukhari, Muslim, and Bayaki. So all these are areas where Islam has also given us the ways and the manner for which to be able to understand our EI in our life. And what does the first domain of EI means, which is self-awareness? What does it mean, self-awareness? It means that the ability for you to recognize and understand your own emotions, yours first, as a leader in professional world, at home, in your organization, and whatever stress of life you find yourself. What do you actually understand yourself? Who are you? Have you done a serious self-recognition and self-critique about yourself? Am I somebody who is temperamental in nature? Am I an introvert or extrovert? You need to do a critique about who you are. This is very key about yourself so that you'll be able to know at what point, what's your mood swing. Are you somebody who has a very serious mood swing? You can swing from being active to just being passive almost at the speed of 30 seconds. Are you somebody who is always the outgoing person? It's also important for you to also understand that your self-awareness also include that you also recognize the correct and the appropriate particular emotions that you find yourself in. For example, you can just imagine you are going to office, fully suited, and you are about to just enter the public transport. As you raise up you're about to sit down, and to sit down, the bus, one of the seats of the bus just tear your trouser, and you're going for management meeting 8 a.m. and we're talking about 7:30 here. What are you going to do? Are you going to lash your anger at the conductor or the driver of the bus? Are you going to rebook yourself because I don't have a car, and you started crying, okay, I don't have money for Uber, or I don't have money for Bolt, that's why I'm in this mess. You need to understand and recognize your own strengths and your limitation. When is that time that you can calm down easily? That what are those things that can bring you down, that before you can say Jack and Robinson, you're already shedding tears? So it's important for you to be able to do your self-awareness. What's your sense of humor? What are those things that makes you? Some people don't even laugh, no matter how level, and what's making people laugh? Are you laughing? What's the sense? So it's even in day-to-day interaction with people, is always very serious. So, and all this you need to identify about yourself so that it can give you the leverage about who you are and what you need to know. Self-awareness in this case, the Quran and Hadith, that is the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, give us the ability for us to have this basic thing so that we can recognize our feelings as somebody who's a Muslim professional and be able to do this. Allah says, "Wafi anfusikum afala tubsiru." Even in your own selves, can't you reason? So it means that you need to do an internal critique about yourself. Even in you, afala tubsirun, can't you even reason? So if you look at inward yourself, you'll be able to see, who am I? What are those things that you need to do a very introspective thinking, deep thinking about who you are, what the kind of person you are. What are those things that bug you? What are those things that give you, make you outgoing? What are those things that can usually get you outburst? It's important for you. So, like Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam passed by, Anas bin Malik reported to the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that a brother passed by Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu, and he told the Prophet that, I love that brother that is going. Prophet now called him, sorry, come. Have you informed that brother you said you love? He said, no. He said, no, I have not informed. He said, go and call him and tell him that you love him for the sake of Allah. And immediately, the brother went to that companion and told him, my brother, I love you because of Allah. That is, he recognizes what he had for his brother, but he was unable to communicate it right away there. Do you know what feeling, what effect you will have on the third party if you had not communicated that? Perhaps people even resent him in yards, in houses, in flats. Some people don't want to talk to another person. But have you even give that person a gift before? Have you extended an ounce of olive to him? Even in offices, people will join offices, place of work, and you'll see people saying that, who is that person talking? they will give you a dossier of each staff in that office on your first 1 week of resumption. Just keep your tabula rasa clean, make yourself available, and you will see that you get to know people about actually who they are and what they actually do. So it's important that your emotional literacy will cause you to have a recognition about your EI. So do a critique about yourselves. That's what I call emotional literacy, and be able to understand and how to express your own emotion afterwards. I hope I'm still on.
Yes, you are. You're still very
again,
much on, sir.
It is also important that we also know what the second domain of self-regulation is, which is self-regulation. What do we mean by self-regulation? Self-regulation means here is that how do you be able to regulate and manage your own emotion? The first one is awareness, emotional literacy. Now that you have even known yourself, how do you now regulate it? You have to give it like a thermostat. Are you on Gear 1 or Gear 2? It means waiting at the right time to express your emotions. What place do you express your emotions? What avenue do you do it? When people are here for mourning, somebody has just been bereaved, and you got there, you are laughing. That's the person does not understand even what EI is all about. Some people were in a place, they were rejoicing about the newborn baby. You are reading Surah Al-Mulk, verse Allah has created death. What is the relevance of in the birth of a new child? So these, at what time, at what place, at what avenue do you express your emotion at best? This is what self-regulation is. And it's got to be done by you in an appropriate manner. It requires you to have the appropriate skill and the flexibility to adapt to changes. And how do you do this? I was in a training one day, I facilitated a training one day for a particular company, and I went to the person in front of me. I was just making an example, and I told the person, I just put my hands on it, I said, sorry. That was when we had a serious flooding in Kogi State, in Kaba area and Okene area of Kogi State. There's serious flooding. A lot of houses were lost. Sorry, my brother, for what has happened in Kogi. I know that you lost some people, you lost property. Do you believe that when they are doing reviews of that particular training, the person actually said that, sir, what you actually told me during the training gave me a relief. 2 of my brothers lost one of their children in the flooding, and we lost a lot of property because I'm from Kogi, and this thing actually affected me. You can imagine me, if I'd make a fun of Kogi people who had lost their life in that place. Look at what that level of self-regulation would have been. It would have seen me as this person lacks EI. So it's important that we know how you do your flexibility and and this is also very appropriate in conflict resolution. When conflict resolutions in office, conflict resolution at home, in organizations, in community, it's very important. Look at people's body language. Look at people's expression. Look at people's interplay, and that you'll be able to know what is appropriate for them and what is not appropriate for them. It's also important that self-regulation skills at this moment is your high level of conscientiousness. It is for you to be thoughtful about how you influence others and take responsibility for your actions. And influencing others it means that you are doing your task seamlessly and be able to adapt in a way that they will understand it. Let us quickly adapt it in what Islam says, so that we can domesticate it appropriately as what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us. Allah tells us in Surah Shura, Ayah 37 says, وَالَّذِينَ يَجْتَبُونَ كَبَائِرَ الْإِثْمِ وَالْفَوَاحِشَ وَإِذَا مَا غَضِبُوا هُمْ يَغْفِرُونَ. And when those who avoid the greater sins, fahisha, as Muslim professionals, one of the things you must understand here is that anger management, openly or otherwise, is very key. Well, I'm not talking, when I say anger management, there are what we call anger pretense. There are places where you need to pretend as if you are angry, but you are not angry. Because there are places where you need to flare up. If you did not flare up there, then that is not appropriate. There are places for you to be able to just show calmness, and they will understand that, yes, this person understands how to manage anger. So this ayah in Surah Shura is telling us that those who avoid fahisha, fahisha is the legal sexual intercourse, and those things are correlate with it. Just imagine yourselves in an office and somebody is telling you that you touched her inappropriately, and the issue, a committee has been set up on you for you to have done that. How will you respond to that kind of a thing? And again, not that alone too. And how do you also avoid anger? And you also do what? Yastaghfirun, and you also forgive people too. So if you had been the shoe of somebody telling you that you have been belie of being sexually assaulting somebody, do you have the ability to forgive that person after investigation have been done and you have been exonerated of such evil claim? Again, in the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Hurairah related that the strong is not one who overcomes the people by strength, but the one who also controls his anger. And like I said, it is important that whenever situation just presents itself, it is now for you to now self-regulate. What is appropriate emotion that I should display in this manner? And this, you don't require, it is a slip of seconds that it happens. Let me just give you a typical example that is very common here. A professional who's a driver in Nigeria, you will be frustrated on Nigerian roads by public drivers, by Okada drivers, by tricycle drivers, by corporate drivers, and even those who are truck drivers. So, and even commercial taxi drivers, they will abuse you. They will tell you, "My car, carry your car." So all these things you need to know how you are be able to do your anger management and control your emotions when it matters most. Again, let us quickly look at the third domain of EI, and that has to do with your social skills. What does your social skills mean here? EI requires you to interact with others very well. How do you interact with others very well? I remember when we started this lecture, I was asking a question: what's the difference between IQ and EQ? And I think the respondent actually told us that it's also one of the areas where your EQ will shows you how you interact with others. It is very important. Your social skills is very key. You can't be in office. You just enter. Good morning. Good morning. The only time when you are in the meeting on Tuesday or Monday review meetings, that's the only time you speak to people. You are just going on your own. Life is not all about work alone. Life is about interacting with, making people, giving people, interacting with people, relating with people to be able to get the best out of them. It's not about the technical issues alone. Let people understand people's emotions. It's important that you know what people feels, what should be put forward on daily basis when you interact with them, and what you use to communicate to them in terms of your social skills. The level of your communication is key. In professional settings, manager benefit by being able to build relationships and connect with employees, and that's what is important. You can line managers, supervisors, and top management can benefit a lot if you connect very well with your workers and you develop a strong rapport with them as a leader and co-worker, not just them. Sit down there, stand up there. It is not done. It's not a secondary school format. You are not a teacher and your co-worker are not your student. Again, your social skills will give you the ability to Your social skills we want to see here in your domains of EI that you have a very good listening skills, your ability to communicate, whether verbal communication or body language. Your persuasion skills is also very, very key, and your directional skill is very key here. Again, one of the important of these we can see in the life of the early Muslim. You will see in the hadith of our father, Nu'man bin Bashir, that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ told us that a believer in the mutual kindness, compassion, and sympathy are like one body. When one part of his limb is affected, the whole body is affected. So, al-mu'min kan bunyan yashuddu ba'da ala ba'da. So the whole body represents his wakefulness, and it also represents his fever. So when you show compassion, when you show kindness, when you show sympathy, you are like making people gather around you. Why is it that when some people get bereaved in offices, people become very docile? The whole day will be like as if they slaughter the whole workforce. And why is that? When some people get to lose any of their colleagues, people say that if he doesn't die, what is this? What's he doing in this world? So these are areas where we understand that social skills matter. When you have impact in people's life, when you communicate effectively with them, when you speak gently with them. Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that even if you want to speak with you, speak what is good, or you keep mute. It is also important that for you as somebody, you must also empathize with people in all spheres of their life. So that they can also see that they are doing the best in terms of their. Look at Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu. Umar would usually patrol around city of Medina to know the needs of people and be able to definitely give their needs to them. That's his social skills. His responsibility as the Amir al-Mu'mineen is that he be able to fulfill the social responsibility as the leader to his people. So, and one of the things he does is that he patrols around, and that was why he was able to identify the woman who was cooking stone instead of cooking food for his children. And he quickly went and brought in food for the family so that they can do the needful for them. Okay, said my time is almost up, and we have a lot to still cover. So let us quickly go to empathy. Empathy is for you to be in the position of, put yourself in the position of the other person. Just try and put yourself in the position of your colleague in office has just lost his child, maybe about 7 years old child. Your colleague in office has just been leave of the appointment. Put yourself in that experience and now see what will happen to the other person. That's the meaning of empathy. Sympathy is just an aspect of empathy. Sympathy and compassion is an aspect of it, but it does not mean it's actually part of it. So I said, I sympathize with you. Well, it's an aspect, I show compassion, but empathy is put yourself in that situation and see how you can demonstrate how you do this effectively well. Prophet demonstrated this for us when they were carrying the cups around, and the companions stand up. First stood down and said, but the person is a Jew now. I said, no, even though he's a Jew, the soul in him, is it not a soul of human being like yourself? So you are respecting that person that has actually, and this we can do in Nigeria, because the way we interact ourselves, the way we empathize ourselves, once you see somebody from the Southeast, you believe the person is everybody from Southeast is with this narrative. See somebody from a particular part of another part of Nigeria, you just close your mind. All of them are from the same narrative of this part of the world. You see somebody from Yoruba land, start asking again, are you from Ekiti or Ondo? Because we know the kind of person who are those people. So you do not actually have motivation for the last domain. Is that motivation means intrinsic motivation. Yes, it's your behavior, compensate people for who has done goodness towards you. it's important that this is done and you are able to get this achieved by ensuring that the reward system is done in such a way that the passion to fulfill their inner needs and it's not about material or money or recognition, but a little pat on the back, appreciating people. It's not about showing you are always recognized for what you do. Motivation here in EI. Somebody may be disagreement can happen. Just show that than this. And I want to say here that what is important here is that great leaders and their theme, like I said, is that you uniquely achieve a lot if you can inspire and motivate those who are around you. Them down. What are you people doing? You're just collecting salary. They're not useful here. Collaborate with your people, with your workforce. Create synergy amongst you. Things you can also do is that ensure that you walk the talk. Whatever you say you should do, integrity and honesty is our core values here. Use yourself, you must be honest, and you must, don't ask them to go and cut corners, but don't put my name, don't put my, I don't want you to put my, this is not a characteristic of a good Muslim. You must also build trust in them and be consistent with what you say you're going to do. Trust is a mutual thing. It's from the belief. It's not only when they make error that you chastise them. When they also do what is right, you also need to make them be aware of it, and you build relationship. You communicate with each member of your team, their values and what they do. What are the key leadership competencies that we need in this era? Is that number one is that we need several requirements of leader. There are 16 in all. I want you to know that the 16 is very important. Maybe when you have the slide, you can read through the 16. But the core, what I want to mention very key here is that all the 16 different things that leaders require. The top 10 among them are things that borders on EI. From the 16 core competencies of leaders, 10 of them is issues that affect EI. So it's important that we. So, what are the flaws that usually we need to look out for that can affect the leader in the workplace and any aspects of life? Number one is your ability to learn from one mistake. So when you see mistakes over time, am I sitting on?
Yes, you have.
Then you are not the best of the leader expected of you. And then when you lack interpersonal, when you say what?
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
You said something, please.
You can go ahead. I guess I want to those on the call.
What can give
said his mic.
the edge is your spiritual dimension. Because as leaders, your ibadah, ultimately what we are looking for is like I said, your ibadah is very key. And what gives you an edge is that your salah, your hajj, your soul, your zakah, all those important pillars of faith and important aspects of our life, pillars of Islam are, and how do we mean this? Siyam, when you fast, the essence of Siyam is that لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. The essence of that al-hajju ashruhum lumat. فَمَنْ فَرَضَ فِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ صَدَقَاتٍ تُطَهِّرُكُمْ وَتُزَكِّيهِمْ بِهَا. So all these pillars of Islam are pointers to how your character, your disposition, in fact, as far as your EI is concerned, is doing. So similarly, Quran is what? Yahdi leti iya akwamu. It guides you to what is right. So your sadaqah, your askar, so it's important that as Muslims, we continue our lives and we make sure that all the things that can give us success in this life are things that we will enjoy our life to be. We will definitely cherish them because we are people who are spirituality. And conclusively, do you know why we are at large? Do you want to understand their workplace? Think possible activity in society to discuss are very begging, and the essence of to close our eyes. If you are still in a small assignment, this what do I mean by this? Number one, you are happy, and at times you are sad. You are scared, and at times you are glad. Because you know who you are, would. You need to engage with people, greet them. Greeting is a very good factor and a very important element of excellence. Make eye contact with people, know their names, explore with your fingers. When you have challenges, even in meetings, tell them that after the meeting, we can achieve greatness on our job. Encourage them and show them unconditional love. And we can experience, we have a lot of experience from our past history. Time will not allow me to go through some of these experiences. The Prophet told Uzaifa ibn Yemen to go and walk from the camp of the Kufar. Go there alone to go and spy. Don't. I saw kind of Abu Sufyan, and that would have been his death because the staunch enemy of the Prophet. But the Prophet has warned me, don't kill anybody. Go there and take information and come back. And he went and he came back. So that is EI for you. He had an opportunity to celebrate that. Prophet, I killed Abu Sufyan today. I killed Abu Sufyan today. Prophet said, don't kill anybody, and was able to go through it. Musa and Khidr. We know the story of Musa and Khidr very well. The Surah Al-Kahf, when Musa celebrated, told him, don't ask me questions. But when Musa killed that child, he shouted, Akotalta Nelson, why do you kill that child now? Somebody who was not doing anything. Why do you? This is unfair. So at that point, Musa was very enraged. He was very enraged and could not control his emotion. The Medina mosque, the Prophet showed his EI in the best of manner. He was tired, he was weak, and they needed to build the mosque, yet he was able to just see. If you see there, and he said his dress, I just came back from Ijra. He will have excuse, but he was carrying block. He empathized with the companions in the building of the mosque. So it was not only him alone. Sulaiman and Udud, look at when Sulaiman was looking at all his birds and all his the creatures Allah has given him. He said, where is Udud? La yu'azzibannahum adhaban shadid. I will either punish him, la azbannahum, or I will kill him, or except he has a valid excuse for where he has gone to. Look at EI. He said, number one, I either punish him. Number two, I kill him, or he has an excuse for what he has gone to. He has given him the latitude that perhaps he might have an excuse. Case of Maryam bint Imran and Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. When Maryam was being accused of being being a chaste woman, he said, I'm not going to talk today. He pointed to Nabi Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. So these are EI in essence. So I want to make a recap. To get to that top, competency behavior necessarily may not give you the top performance and is not sufficient. But the things that are going to give you the baseline that you require on a long-term success are self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills, which we refer to as ER. So, my brothers and sisters in place, the position you hear today is the position of the early companions. So do it rightly and imbibe the element of EI. Thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We say jazakumullah khairan to our dear Alhaj Abdulaziz Ajala for that very, very captivating submission of his. In spite of the intermittent network glitches, no doubt about it, we had a very high opening moment this past few minutes that we have spent with you. Very thought-provoking, I must say. And then, of course, judging by some of the reactions that are already trailing this your submission, you could see very that people are actually very, very impressed with your delivery. And of course, because you actually raise very, very important and pertinent issues that are, that affect our day-to-day interactions with other people around us. So that is how it has been on this month's webinar, particularly on the topical issue that we have today, which is emotional intelligence as a panacea to leadership success. And of course, we take a bit of cue from the past experiences or lessons from the early Muslims. So thank you very much once again, our dear speaker for today, Alhaj Abdulaziz Ajala. Thank you very much. We're not going to just leave it at that. Even though time may not permit us to take extended period of time on the question and answer segment, but I think we should be able to take a bit of some of the questions, just a few of them that we have at the moment. But the most important thing that we are all in agreement with is that this particular topic is what we need about this time. And then, of course, quite a number of people who are here are also people who also interact with a whole lot of people, maybe they come in contact with people in some of their NGOs in which they are involved in, and offices and other places where they come in contact with people every day. Emotional intelligence is very, very key. And of course, it spoke to the differences that is in IQ and EQ. There's a whole lot of differences in being the very bright student or that very brilliant gentleman, maybe in your academics. But when it comes to being able to successfully relate with people in harmony, you need a bit more than that IQ. It needs that EQ, which is emotional quotient. So talk about EI now, emotional intelligence is very, very vital. And that is what we have been talking about for the last couple of minutes. The good news is that we are going to have this slide shared with us. So some of you can drop your email addresses or where you want it to be dropped. But of course, for those of you who are already part of the Telegram community, rest assured that it is also going to be shared. I'm talking about the slides for today's webinar. It's going to be shared on that particular platform. So very, very interesting time out we have had with our speaker. We say thank you again, Alhaj Abdulaziz Ajala. So that is how it has been. While we are listening to that very beautiful submission from our speaker, we had one of our very, very important guests also joining up with us on the call. I'm talking about the immediate past Wali of the Muslim Congress, who is now the Noble Amir Administration of TMC International Headquarters in person of Alhaji Mikhail Animashal. You are most welcome, sir. We appreciate you. This is one of those who are the mastermind of the project TCP as we have it today in Lagos State. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. So at this point in time, we just take a breather now to go over to the finance manager in person of Brother Shakiruddin Animashal. He's going to speak to some of the financial aspect of the project TCP. He's going to be speaking to that in just about a jiffy because we don't have too much time on our hand, and of course, Mogli is just around the corner. So we're going to listen to Brother Shakiruddin Animashal. But a moment, please. Sheikh Dibambo, I can see your hand up. You have anything to say?
Yes. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
Just to apologize for my inability to also link up when I was supposed to make the presentation. The network has been very, undated, so it's been a serious challenge that I went through. So eventually when I came up, the time has also gone. I want to seek Allah's forgiveness in this regard and also apologize to our listeners and the ESCOs in general.
All right, that is what I'll take you. Thank you very much. So that has been the TCP Vice Chair Administration. That is Malam Abduwahid Adibambo. It was due to take the opening remarks, but in his absence, we have had the technical counterpart in person of Blekini who take that for him, and what a human job he did. So thank you very much. And of course, apology accepted. It's quite understandable, that challenge that you had. So as mentioned earlier, we're going to join the finance manager. He has just about a minute or two to tell us what he has for us from the financial aspect of the TC project.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We thank Almighty Allah who has continued to support us from the beginning to this period of the webinar. May He accept our thanks. From the Congress Professional TCP, the TCP was parted on the philosophy of not only complementing the works of the other professional bodies, but also creating an avenue to synergize, for all professionals to synergize in order to achieve success in all facets of life, and also as a consolidation of the work of professional bodies in this nation and the world in general. You agree with me that in relation to the work of Islam, Islam provided a lot of avenues. It provided avenues for different professionals, different people who have been able to work to help the work of Islam. Talk of Khalid bin Walid, talk of Umar bin Khattab, and all the rest of the Sahabas. They all come together under the platform of Islam to demonstrate, to synergize, and to help the work of Islam in order to transform the world. And this is also the philosophy we are coming up with TCP. So we are using this opportunity to talk to you as professionals, that we are creating this platform for us to come together, to synergize, to create a positive impact in the world. We've opened up a lot of avenues for you to be a member of DCP. You can go onto our website and register in as a member for us to come together. And then we also have, as you know, there's no philosophy in this world, there's no course in this world that will not require the use of the human resources and the material resources. And that's what Allah says. Allah says, strive on the cause of Allah with your words and with your life. So this is what we are calling up. We are calling for your membership and we are calling for your financial support. So our account number is there on the screen, and you can go to our website to be a member of the Congress, so that we can all come together to create a positive impact in the world. And we pray that Almighty Allah continue to bless you as you do this. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much, Madam Shakruddin Animasha, the finance manager of the TCP. There you have heard it. There's a whole lot on the plate for TCP, and of course, without your support, we may not be able to take it to those lofty heights that we are all dreaming of. There's so much for you to savor as far as the TCP project is concerned. Remember, I told you earlier that the TCP is not just about the webinar. There's so much in-person programs that are also being put together for your pleasure. I'm talking about Muslim professionals. So as much as we are actually inviting your membership, of course, we are also seeking your financial contribution to be able to see through some of the projects that we have in the office. So that is what Madam Shakruddin Animasha has been speaking to. So for your widow's mite, for your contribution in whatever form, particularly if you are going to monetize it. So of course, you already have the account number right there on the screen. It's an FCMB account. It is right there on the screen. You can make your transfer. You can also get to meet with some of the organizers for other forms of support that you already have for them. So thank you very much. So like I said, our time is fast spent, and Mogul these days comes earlier than usual, so we're going to be very, very mindful of time. Well, we have just a couple of questions here. Okay. Okay, I think some of the questions has already been taken. For instance, Brother Kamaruddin Abdurrahim joined us all the way from Katsina, but quite unfortunately, I've had to exit because he made us understand that in Katsina, Maghrib time is as early as 6 p.m. So he was not able to stay through to the end of this webinar. But he has asked a question, and the question is, how can we replicate this emotional intelligence among our leaders, particularly an Islamic association the kind of Islamic associations that we have in the Southwest? We would like to know how we can replicate this emotional intelligence, or how we can apply emotional intelligence in the rank and file of some of the Islamic organizations that we have here in the Southwest. So that is the question from our brother all the way from Katsina, Malam Kamaruddin Abdurrahim. So I would like the speaker to quickly take that on. And then maybe you can also take this. Just a moment, sir. We also have another question here, and that will wrap it up. This question is from a sister, I guess, Nusra Afolabi Balogun. She's saying, many thanks for the rich lecture. Please, where do the other party come in this situation, knowing it takes two parties to coexist? I will take it again. Where do the other party come in this situation, knowing it takes two parties to coexist? I'm hoping that question is clear to you, sir. So you can take it along with the first one that I mentioned, and that will be all that we have on questions for today. So it's over to you, sir.
Okay. On the first question, I don't want us to bother our head too much on our leaders. Let us start to implement EI individually as Muslims. And you will see that whatever you start on your own will cascade on a larger scale. A lot of people will speak volume about your person. I've interacted with this person before. It will definitely have effect on them. Number two, what we can also do is that we can also replicate this kind of lecture with organization. The world is becoming a smaller village now. You can sit down in the corner of your room in Ottawa and also give a lecture to somebody in Niger State. So it's important that if we have identified such organization, we can invite personnel to also give lectures to people and be able to also upskill such organizations so that they can understand what EI is all about. And thirdly is that we need to continue to pray for goodness. But start with yourself, continue to implement EI. Let us also train those who do not have the element of EI, and we can use prayer to discuss a powerful tool. Second question, it takes two to tango. Yes, it takes two to tango. Because just understand the other person's feelings. Like I said, when I was talking about self-regulations, your self-awareness, about you first, self-regulation, your social skills. Understand people and understand how you can deal with them. When it has to come with a second party or a third party, just understand who that person is. If you're a very temperamental person, very calm with that person. If there's somebody who does not like people who make fun of him, don't make fun of him. Person does not like you to call him pet names. You don't call him alias. Call that person by his name that they ask you to call him. Some people would like you to even call them doctor because they have PhD. Please call the person by doctor, whatever it is. When people have PhD, they are professor. They'll tell you, call me Abdullah, call me Shegun. I don't want you to start saying prof. Don't call me prof. I'm sorry. Call me by my name, Shegun. That's their EI. You almost understand the person's emotion. Please, if you ask people to call him by his name. In some offices, they said, call everybody by name. Some people could be older than you, but like your father's age. Don't say that, Amon come, Bumi come. These people could be even older than your elder sister. So it's important that you understand people's emotions and be able to deal with them that way. You may call them by their name, but you must respect them if that's your office policy. But after office, know that beyond office, you have to give them the due respect. Wallahu ta'ala alam.
All right, thank you very much. There you have it. So you need to respect people's spaces. You need to respect some of their preferences also. It makes it a lot easier for people to live and of course relate in a very harmonious way. So that is the much that we'll be able to take today. Time fast spent, Maghrib is already upon us and we have to call it time here. Until next time when we are going to come your way, that will be sometime in December, the second Sunday in December, that is talking about that will be on the 12th of December to be precise. That is when next will be coming up on yet another webinar for you at TCP. So until then, we are going to close in prayer and we are going to have Brother Abdul Karim Awile Shere on that closing dua. And until next time, we hope that Allah continue to keep us together. Over to you, Brother Abdul Karim.
Alhamdulillah. Salatu wassalamu who has made it easy for us to go through this lecture. We pray it makes it uja for us and not against us on the day of Qiyamah. We pray it makes on forever. Amin. Allahumma ati nufusana taqwaha wa zakkiha anta khayrun man zakkaha anta waliyuha wa maulaha. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta. Nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wassalamun ala al-mursalin. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi. So see you next Sunday, 12th of December. Until then, it is Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.